Hello, it's Wednesday's Talking Reds. It's myself, John Gibbons, and Mo Stewart. And before we start, today's Talking Reds is brought to you again in partnership with our friends at Lavazza. Lavazza are Liverpool's official coffee partner at Liverpool, and to celebrate that partnership, they have produced this rather snazzy LFC coffee machine. It's sleek, it fits in your kitchen, and yeah, it's a nice little present for yourself or any kind of Liverpool fan you know. Also, what Lavazza have got at the moment, which is worth highlighting, is these new eco caps, which are 100% compostable. So we know a lot of people worried about the environment now and things like that. So these eco caps are a good way to keep our carbon footprint down, Mo.
Yeah, it's a really important thing, and also, I mean, it's kind of stylish as well. I'm sure it'll brighten up most people's living rooms.
That's Mo saying he might be trying to steal that one. So if it disappears today, let's check Mo's.
Oh, come on now, really? Yes, really. Yeah, that would be a perfect Christmas present for both of my housemates. But we should probably move on to football by now, I think it's about time. Thankfully, in the middle of the week, there's not always games on, but something really important happens. Sadio Mane was crowned King of Africa. He finally got his hands on the African Player of the Year award, John. And he's come close a couple of times in the last few years, and I was a little bit concerned that this was one of the things that might start to see him look elsewhere if he's always going to be playing second fiddle to Mo. But if you see the way he's played over the last year, he's 100% deserving of the award. Yeah,
it's a fantastic honour for him. I've seen the acceptance speech. He's obviously delighted. Yeah. He's such a humble guy as well, isn't he? You can't help but kind of like him even more when he speaks. He said right at the top, much prefer playing football to kind of talking in front of you guys, feel much more comfortable. But I thought he did a good job. He came across really well, and he will be delighted because obviously he's proud of where he's from. He's proud of his country and Africa as a whole. And as you say, he's come close a couple of times. I'm sure he's been pleased for Mo in the past, but I'm sure now he's thinking, well, I won't mind this one. So it's great for him, fantastic. I think it's cool that Liverpool let these players go out and kind of go to these awards because obviously, it disrupts in terms of training and stuff like that. But I think they know how much it means to them. And obviously, I think both of the guys were there certainly last year. I'm not sure if Mo went to this one. I haven't seen yet, but Sadio's there to accept it. And yeah, really proud for him, and as you say, well deserved. What a year he's had.
Yeah, and I think I've noticed as well in the outside Liverpool bubble, people are starting to realise that the two of them now are on a very similar level. Like, obviously there's that friendly rivalry they have within the team. They shared the golden boot last year, and it seems that rivalry within the squad, despite that whole Burnley business, seems to be driving them both on. But I've noticed from the outside there seems to be a wider acceptance that Mane has now elevated himself to alongside Salah on that level.
No, I think so. I think I've seen other fans talking about when you watch Liverpool and you're like, maybe Mane's the one who actually makes them tick, do you know what I mean? Maybe he's the one who helps get them with the pitch. He's dribbling so strong, he's so tough to get off the ball, and I think his work rate's obviously phenomenal, and so Mo Salah is a great player. He's done amazing things for Liverpool. For me, selfless in that number 9 role and kind of what he does, dropping deep a lot and making things happen. But I think people are seeing more and more with Sadio Mane, not just obviously his improved goal return, but just what he offers to this team on a week-by-week basis, what he brings, how instrumental he is to how we play. And yeah, it's great to see him getting, accolades, awards, and hopefully a few more medals.
Yeah, very hopefully. It's going to potentially be his most successful season ever. He's already obviously won the Super Cup, won the World Club Cup. Hopefully we're going to win a certain other Premier League trophy later on, and this could just be the start of something fantastic for him. I mean, we might even see him looking at some of the big individual awards coming into the season as well. The PFA, he's got to be one of the front runners for that based on the season so far.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few at Liverpool, isn't there? Let's face it, all the competition more or less seems to be kind of from within Anfield. Well, maybe that's harsh on a few of the other guys. Like Jamie Vardy's had an amazing season, hasn't he? Kev De Bruyne looks to be absolutely back to his best, and I thought City were excellent last night. But you'd be surprised if it wasn't a winner from Liverpool. Yeah. If the season continues how we all want it to and how it is at the moment, and Sadio has to be right up there. Some brilliant individual performances from a lot of Liverpool players this season, but yeah, Sadio right at the top for me.
I'm so pleased for the lad as well, because he is kind of very much the heart of our soul of our team. Every time you see him on the internet, there's a new viral video of him being an absolute superstar to someone, or just how much he loves it, how much he enjoys being part of this team and driving us forward. So all of the accolades in the world deserve him going to that.
I presume you've seen him celebrating the goal, the Curtis Jones.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a reference now, but I just thought check. If you haven't seen it yet, there's a video for someone from the crowd who manages to perfectly time it for Curtis Jones's goal. But even with that goal, somehow Sadio Mane manages to steal the show.
It's just a blur. It's hilarious. You just you see him there, and all of a sudden he's gone, which is kind of like he's on the pitch as well. But yeah, Sadio, we love you. Keep doing what you're doing. Now, something that's probably not quite as rosy in the world, we don't know how serious it is, but it's something that has been flagged up a couple of times over the course of the last few months, and this week by David Ornstein, respected writer of The Athletic, and that's the contract situation around Gini Wijnaldum. Now, we've had a lot of the big guys sign contracts over the last 18 months, in fact, nearly all of them. But Gini's getting down to the last 18 months of his deal, and there's still nothing signed. According to Ornstein, it's a situation that Liverpool are comfortable with. They may even be willing to let him leave in the summer with potential suitors in Spain and Italy. John, that can't be right, surely?
Yeah, it sort of came out of nowhere, didn't it? And it was a little bit of a surprise, but then you think, well, 18 months would we normally, have it all kind of tied up by then. As you say, though, everyone just seems fairly relaxed about it. There was a few other journalists tweeting about it last night, just saying, don't worry, the club are relaxed, Gini's relaxed. He feels he's at the best club in the world, and so that was kind of nice to hear, really. But you're just a little bit surprised because the club's kind of run so well at the moment, and because everything is so positive, and because we just seem to be on these things, a lot more, considering the sort of, the dark old days of kind of a Raheem Sterling situation, if you want to go all the way back to Stephen Manaman if you want.
Oh God, we don't.
and so, getting caught out on these things, it feels like Liverpool are a lot more proactive now, but if everyone's calm, then maybe we should be calm as well.
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, Gini's it's an interesting situation because, I don't know if any of you are aware, but the wages list was actually released a couple of days ago, and he's on the same money as Lazar Markovic, which tells you how long ago it was that he signed his deal. So I'm hoping that now, obviously, he was in the top 30 of the Ballon d'Or. He's looking at it and thinking, I should be on a higher echelon. So I don't know whether these two things are related, and someone within his camp is just trying to remind people that he's deserving of a higher contract than maybe Liverpool were initially hoping for. I hope that's the case. And by the way, can I just say, John Henry, give him the damn money.
Sign him up. Sign him up, friends.
I mean, when you think about his importance to the team, he's what a lot of people call like a system player, like him and Firmino a lot of the time. You don't always see the benefit of what he's doing, but if you speak to his teammates, speak to the coaches, and in terms of the way the system works, he is still integral. So we would expect to see some kind of deal happening.
We would.
Okay, yes. So
that felt like therapy for Mo then. We all got him through it together.
Thanks, guys. I just want to see a picture of Gini with that big smile and that pen. That's all I'm waiting for.
Right.
Now, obviously, here at the Anfield Wrap, we have been doing plenty of shows throughout this week. Yesterday, John and I did a show about the top 6 and what they could potentially be doing in the transfer market. Here's a little snippet for you.
Moving on to Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had an interesting time recently, hasn't he? Kevin's getting criticised from all angles. Van Persie said he's smiling too much after defeats. Paul Pogba's agent said United would ruin the career of Diego Maradona and Pele if they join the club now, which seems harsh, but
really enjoyable as a Liverpool fan. After all the years we've had to put up with them, it's great to see them having a real downturn, and also even though that they're doing actually relatively okay, I was surprised when we looked at the show where they are in the league. They're right up there, and obviously even when they're doing well, it's still not good enough for them.
Yeah.
I like the fact that even Rio Ferdinand's now turned on his mate, which I thought he was never going to do it. With Solskjaer, for me, he's on a hiding to nothing because he is just too nice to be a top manager. I think there's no steel behind him. All the ridiculous things like I don't park in the gaffer's spot and all that when he first got there, it's really difficult to recover from something like that and then make yourself your own man in the role. I think he's got, I seen an interview the other day done, and you mentioned Pogba, and he said Pogba's people saying he needs an operation, so I think he's probably going to have that. Pogba's people. Man United are Pogba's people, do you know what I mean? He pays 300 grand a week. So Ferguson would have told me if he's having the operation or not. And listen, it's a bit Liverpool-esque really, where it's hard to compare him to Ferguson because Ferguson was such a great manager. And no one's going to be able to do the job that Ferguson's done because football's a different game. And you don't have these sort of the rule with an iron fist type of manager. Look at Jurgen Klopp, he's the best in the world now, and he's got a whole team around him. But United, from the top down, are struggling, and I think if they do get top 4 this season, it'll be one of the ones where maybe next year they miss out. I don't think it'll be any sort of bar to consistency for them.
Thanks for those handsome fellas there. Now, there isn't a massive amount of Liverpool transfer action. The lads yesterday spoke about the young boy we've got from Brentford. There has been an outgoing over the course of the last 24 hours though. Rhian Brewster has finalised his deal to go on loan to Swansea after there being a little bit of a hiccup towards late in the day. But if you look at the teams he was potentially going to, John, I think Leeds were in the mix, Bristol City and Swansea. Swansea are the team who he's most likely to get minutes for. Obviously, Leeds are still fighting for the championship, and they had the incident with Eddie Nketiah from Arsenal, where it didn't quite go well. You think of the way Swansea like to play their football, it looks like the right move for him.
No, definitely, and I think it's an interesting move in that if you look at the structure of it, there's no loan fee, which is unusual for Liverpool. Normally we'd insist on, even if it was just a couple of £1 million to have our player for a short period of time. There's no loan fee here, which shows that for Liverpool the much greater concern was where he goes and what they're going to do with him. And so I think there is a system in place where Swansea have to pay if they don't play him over a certain percentage of minutes or games, and obviously they're paying a decent proportion of his wages as well. But I think the idea with this is that it's not a shop window on this. It's not a case of we'll try before you buy or for anyone else. It's a case of he's been through a lot last couple of years, Rhian Brewster, with his injuries and with his personal setbacks. Obviously now is the business end of the season. There's obviously an FA Cup 4th round where he might play in, but you still feel like he will be better suited playing week in, week out rather than getting the odd snippet of what we can throw at him. So it's a good move for him. I think Swansea, haven't seen too much of this season, but generally speaking, they're a football inside. That's the way they've always liked to play, and so I think he will enjoy it. And he looks like he's raring to go. I've seen him on social media, and he's like, thank the managers, plural, the clubs for making it happen. So I think it looks like something that he was, certainly, pushing for, if that's the right term. And so, good luck to him. We'll be watching keenly.
Definitely will. And it's interesting, like you say, he's had a bit of a rough time of it. And if you look towards the end of last season, maybe there were some people who thought he might have been more involved than he has been over the course of the first half of this season, maybe even himself. When you compare it to some of the strides made some of the other kids, like Elliot and Jones in particular, but he's got bags of time as a player. He's obviously got the confidence of all of our guys, the coaches and stuff. So this is just going to be a really good opportunity for him to get regular games, get some rhythm up, and show us Liverpool fans exactly what we've got on our hands.
Yeah, exactly. Look, you've got to remember, how highly thought of he was, not just in Liverpool's camp, but also obviously England. The World Cup that they won, which is full of, stars and people have really kicked on. But he was the guy who was the Golden Boot winner, wasn't he? He was the guy, scoring the hat-tricks and doing amazing things. And if you think about that team, and it contained the likes of Jordan Sancho, but it was Brewster who was getting all the headlines. Just showed how highly thought of he was then, and what a fantastic talent he was at that point. Obviously you never know what's going to happen from there, and people develop at different times, but he's had rotten luck, hasn't he, with injuries, but he still obviously believes in himself. Obviously there's still belief in Liverpool that this could be a great player for us in the future, and this is hopefully going to be a stepping stone towards that.
I think so. I think the fact that it's the same coach from the England Under-17s World Cup team who's now at Swansea is definitely going to help him as well. So all the best for that one, Rhian. As John said, we will be watching you intently. Now, we are still in January. Technically, the transfer window is open. We aren't expecting masses through the doors here at Anfield, but it's worth keeping an eye on everyone else, I think. So I'm going to be recording a transfer show very soon after this one, actually, where we're going to dive into some of what some of our rivals are doing. Now, obviously, it's not quite as keenly affecting us this season as it has been in previous years, but still worth keeping an eye on, isn't it, John?
No, absolutely, yeah. There's kind of lots going on, rumours flying around, and also, even if it's not necessarily for this window, I think there's talk of, what we're putting together kind of for the summer from the Liverpool point of view. So yeah, still plenty of things to watch out for, and it's nice. Obviously, Liverpool are in a fantastic position now, so we can watch everyone else kind of scramble around and panic. It's a bit like having all your Christmas shopping done and watching Neil Atkinson run around town on Christmas Eve, like a madman trying to sneak pints in. So that's how I'm watching the transfer shows now.
You know what? That should be an annual event, I think. Definitely.
So I'm selling tickets for it next year. I can watch.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be a lot more interesting than the Manchester derby was last night. Well, that's our show for today. Big thanks to John and to Lavazza as always. We'll see you tomorrow.